Texas Math Mundo audience, are we in store for a treat today? In the house is Mr. James Early, a chess aficionado. He's been promoting chess in Houston, Pasadena, Southeast Houston for well over a decade. It's my great pleasure to have James Early, chess sponsor, chess promoter in Southeast Houston, in the house. Let me take a quick moment and ask that if you enjoy this content, that you please hit the subscription button and the notification bell, that you leave a comment below, and you smash that like button. I have plenty of wonderful things in store for this channel, and I truly appreciate your support. Mr. James Early, chess in Pasadena, Southeast Houston area, right ahead. My name is Saul Dandu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. Texas Math Mundo audience, are we in store for a treat today? In the house, we have Mr. James Early. Mr. Early has a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from the University of Texas, where he was part of the Longhorn Band. He has a Master of Divinity in Theology from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. He has a Master of Arts in History from Sam Houston State University. He is a former math and science teacher. Currently, he is a data specialist in Pasadena Independent School District. He is a chess aficionado, spreading the joy of chess to youth in Pasadena and Southeast Houston area for well over a decade. Welcome, Mr. James Early.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Hey, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Let's start off by just asking, how are you doing?
I am doing just great, man. Wonderful.
What are you up to nowadays? What's keeping you busy? Hobbies, interests?
Oh, man, I'm so much stuff going on. I'm busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. I tell you, I work full-time for Pasadena ISD. I teach 9 hours a week. Or 9 hours a semester, I should say, at San Jacinto College. I teach U.S. history. Got 2 night classes and 1 online class. And I have a history podcast called Key Battles of American History that I'm always doing something for. I'm either writing or recording or researching or something constantly. So that keeps me pretty busy. Plus, I'm trying to learn guitar. That's been a many-year project, and I off and on, very much off and on. I'm trying to work up for a 10K that I'm hoping to run in February, and just trying to spend some time with my wife. That's it.
Oh, awesome! Key battles in American history.
Key battles of American history. Yeah, we're just finished a massive series on World War II in Europe, and I'm about to start another one pretty soon. Another series.
Wow, it all sounds fascinating. How can they find your podcast?
Well, you could just Google Key Battles of American History podcast, and you should get several hits. It's on all the major podcast carriers, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, you name it.
Awesome. Hey, what is a data specialist? What does a data specialist do?
Oh, man, it just depends on what time of year and what day of the week. Primarily what we do is there's 4 of us total. I'm over high school. There's somebody else that does intermediate. Somebody else does middle. Somebody else does elementary. The main thing we do is we manage the AWARE software program, which, as you know, is a program we use to test our students, and then we analyze the data afterward. And so I do training. I teach people how to use the system. I do a lot of tech support. When something goes wrong, I fix it. I run reports from time to time. I do other things too. I track high school specific data that comes from the state. I track data on graduation, dropouts, CCMR, you name it, anything that's high school related. I also do a lot of tracking of scores of SAT, PSAT, ACT, TSIA2, and AP, among others. I think I got them all in, but there's probably something I'm forgetting. But so, yeah, and many other things too.
Awesome. A lot of math?
Well, quite a bit. Yeah. A lot of Excel work, especially. I don't have to do any really super difficult I'm not solving any quadratic equations or finding any derivatives or anything, but yes, I do have to. I have to know how to write formulas in Excel and use them and make sure the results are reasonable.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, you recently hosted a chess tournament. I was there. It was a beautiful scene. Hundreds of kids in the gym engaged in the beautiful game of chess. I mean, I was just taken aback at the beauty of the scene. What were your thoughts on the recent chess tournament that you hosted?
I think it was the smoothest one we ever had. It wasn't the biggest one. It wasn't small either. I think we had about 250 people total, students, and not to mention another 100 coaches and other workers. But yeah, it was great. It went really smoothly. I was pleased. I think it was one of our earliest start times. As you know, Mr. Cantu, from your experience at being at some of these tournaments, the hardest part is getting people in the door, getting them checked in, make sure, okay, who's here? Are the names on the list the same as the actual bodies that are present, and getting them in their seats for the first round. That's always called organized chaos. But after that, thanks to the software we have and thanks to a small army of helpers that I have, it runs like clockwork. And I feel like we got started earlier than ever this time.
Okay, is that Swiss system software?
Yeah, well, no, it's not. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is Swisssys. Yeah, it is Swisssys.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
Really good stuff.
Hey, we're going to get deep with the chess, but I do want to pause for a moment and ask about you, man. Where are you from, born and raised? What's your cultural heritage?
I actually I grew up in Pasadena, Texas.
Really?
But I didn't live here my whole life. My dad was a full colonel in the Marine Corps. He served for 26 years, and he retired in 1967. And the next year I was born. So I was born. He was in the Pentagon at his last posting, and he got a job with a defense contractor in Northern Virginia. So I spent my first 4 years in Northern Virginia. But my folks were both from Texas, and they wanted to get back to Texas after my dad retired. And we moved to Lufkin, Texas in 1972 when I was 4. And then a year later, we went to San Antonio. And then another year later, my dad got a job teaching ROTC at Pasadena High School.
Really?
So my dad was the senior ROTC instructor at Pasadena High School from 74 through 86. And he moved down here in 74, and then my mom and I joined him in 75. And from 75 to 86, I was in Pasadena schools. I went to Jensen Elementary, Parkview Intermediate, and Sam Rayburn High School, graduated in 86, and then went to UT and was there for 4 years and graduated in 1990.
Wow, a Texan through and through. And let me tell you, being
yeah,
in Pasadena...
pretty much.
Go ahead.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
And let me tell you, teaching at Pasadena High School, Pasadena is a beautiful place, man. I like the people. Awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It's good folks, and I like the district. I've almost not met anybody that works for the district that I didn't like. Everybody's, 99% of the people are nice and friendly and hardworking. It's a good place to be.
It is. So I'm going to ask, when were you first introduced to chess?
Good question. My dad taught me to play chess when I was a kid, but he didn't really follow up on me. We played a few times, and then he kind of lost interest in it, so I lost interest in it. And then I played a little bit in high school, and again, just didn't really get that much into it. I was more into board games, like war games. Like I started with Risk and then moved into a game called Axis and Allies, which is a World War II game, and some other even more complicated games that simulated different battles and different wars. So I never really got that much into chess. I played a little as a young man, but not much. But funny thing is my oldest daughter, Audrey, got me into it. She was in 7th grade at Beverly Hills Intermediate a long time ago, probably almost 20 years ago. And she just got into chess, and she said, "Hey, Dad, I'm playing chess." So I said, "Okay, I'll play, and you and I can play. I'll learn to play." And that's when I got pretty serious about it. And of course, it's funny, she quit playing, but I kept going. And part of it is because my dad came down with Alzheimer's disease when he was in his mid-70s, and I'm not saying it's his fault. Obviously it's not, but he really, after he retired, he didn't do a whole lot of things to stimulate his mind. He just he did write a book on our family history. So there is that. That's pretty impressive. But Other than that, he mainly spent his evenings and his spare time just watching TV and things like that. So I said, I want to do what I can to try to fight that off in advance. I want to try to nip it in the bud because it's a genetic disease. So I said that I'm going to not just play chess a little bit to help my daughter out, but I'm going to really study it and learn it. And I did. I bought all these books and I watched all these videos and I played. I probably read nothing but chess books for 2 or 3 years, and I got fairly decent. I never got great, but I got competent. And so that's when I really got serious. That was 2004 when I was 36, and I've played consistently ever since then. I don't think I've not had a game going during that entire time. How long is that's almost 20 years now.
Wow, wow. I will say, I learned chess from my dad. It's such a pure and wonderful and beautiful bonding experience between parent and child. And you with your daughter?
Yeah, it really is. And I went on later I have 4 daughters total, and one of them is autistic. She's low functioning, and so she's not really able to play chess. But my 2 youngest both played. In fact, my number 3 daughter came to a few of our tournaments. She played on the Malillo Middle School team and got first place one time when she was in 6th grade. But when she got to 7th grade, she quit playing it. And my youngest also played, and I started her out when she was about 4, but she would sit there and play with the pieces like they were toys. So I said, okay, I think you're a little too young. I think we need to wait. So I waited a couple years, and then I got her started again. And she went to a couple tournaments herself when she was, I think, in 1st or 2nd grade. But none of them play anymore, but that's okay. At least they did play some, and we got to play together, which was a wonderful experience.
Awesome. That's great. Great stuff. Hey, I have a question. E4 or D4?
Oh, E4, man. Bobby Fischer said best by test. I know it's not like the most popular move today. I think most grandmasters will do D4, but I like E4. I do it 99% of the time.
Awesome. So you have a master's in history. Are you familiar a bit with chess history?
Oh yeah, I'm not an expert on it, but I know a fair amount about it. There's a great book which I think every chess player should read, and it's called The Immortal Game, and it is the history of chess. And as most people know, chess is an ancient game. We have no idea really when it started, but it's been around since at least the 500s or 600 AD, and it started probably in India, and then it spread to other parts of the world. And it was a very different game when it started. Like the queen could only move one space in each direction. And over time, it took the game changed and morphed, and the queen got more powerful, and other pieces changed, and it became very popular in Europe and especially in Russia. But it became known as the royal game because it has kings and queens and all that. And I think it kind of stabilized in its current form. I want to say around the mid 1700s. I might be a little off on that, but it's been pretty much the same since then. So yeah, I know a fair amount about the history of the game.
Oh, awesome. Good stuff. So, you already mentioned you want to keep your mind actively engaged to stave off, so why chess? Is that the primary reason, or there are other benefits?
Well, there are other benefits too. I mean, especially for young people, chess is a lot like life. And the lessons we learn by playing chess are lessons that we need to learn for life. And if you could learn them on the board and apply them to your day-to-day life, you're going to have a lot less trouble in life. So there's things, like the idea of thinking ahead and thinking about the consequences of your move. In life, we make millions of decisions, but we don't always think through what's going to happen if I do this, if I buy this thing, or if I go to this party, or if I do this other thing, or if I say if I say X or Y to my mom or dad or my brother or sister or my teacher, or later on your girlfriend, your wife, what's going to happen if I do this? And we learn that in chess. And I still, to this day, I've been playing for 20 years consistently and seriously, and I still sometimes I make a move and it's too fast and I get busted for it. It's like, oh, dadgummit, I should have thought about that. I should have thought of all the consequences, but we get in a hurry. And even sometimes in chess, you can get emotional. You lose a piece and you're like, dadgummit, I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to kill this guy. And you make even more mistakes. So So that's certainly one benefit, the idea of thinking ahead and weighing the consequences of your moves. And it gives you, from an academic standpoint and just a life standpoint, it gives you this spatial reasoning. You learn to look this way and that way and all that. And that's another thing I often don't do very well. I'm especially bad with diagonals. I have this thing I call bishop blindness, and I'll make a move, and the next move I get it back, and it's like, oh, where did that bishop come from? I didn't even see him. So yeah, there's many other life lessons that come from chess. Sportsmanship, that's a number one thing, and you've seen this too as a chess coach. A lot of chess players, especially young people, they get too down on themselves when they lose or when they make a mistake. And we've had players literally walk out of our tournaments, just leave because they got upset because they lost a game. And you got to learn to lose. In life, you win some, you lose some. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. And you've got to understand that not everything's going to go your way. You're going to apply for a job and you're not going to get it. You're going to apply for colleges or whatever. You're not going to get into some of the schools you want to go to. You're going to ask some person, you're going to ask a girl out. She's going to say no sometimes. And you have to learn, hey, it's okay. It's okay if everything doesn't go my way, because that's part of life, and you learn to be mature and accept it, move on, and put it behind you, move on to the next challenge.
You mean you can't just flip the chessboard over in frustration?
Yeah, you can, but you don't learn anything about life, that you don't. And so I think chess, if we will let chess teach us, it will teach us a lot more than just E4, E5, knight F3, things like that. You know what I mean? It'll teach us more about tactics and strategy, although those are good lessons as well. It teaches us about life again.
And there's etiquette, right? Exactly. Shake your opponent's hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't trash talk other players. Don't harass. Don't stand up and get right in their face, and sit back, be polite, be kind. If somebody makes an illegal move, don't get all over them. Just say, hey, that's an illegal move. You need to take it back. And be politeness, kindness. That'll get you through life. It's maybe 90% of life. I don't know.
Awesome insight. The chessboard is profoundly beautiful, but what happens around the chessboard is also important. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So why do you do what you do? It's one thing to enjoy a personal game of chess one-on-one, but you do this on a massive scale, bringing it to so many youth in our area. Why do you do what you do?
Well, fundamentally, there's a lot of reasons I could give you, but if you want to boil it down to one thing, I love the game. I just love the game, and I want more people to be exposed to it. It does a lot of good for a person to learn chess and to consistently play it. We've already talked about a lot of the benefits. Well, I want those benefits to go to as many people as possible. And, as you know, I don't just run tournaments. I am constantly pushing for more chess on more campuses. And I try to be a support person to the campus chess coaches like you and Mr. Geronimo and on the other people on other campuses. All of you guys are doing this as a labor of love. None of us is getting a dime for for doing chess. But there's more to life than money. I mean, money's great. We can't live without it. But the chance to connect with kids and to help kids learn this beautiful game that we've been talking about, and to learn the life lessons and to be transformed by it. I could tell you countless stories of people who have given testimonies, almost like a religious experience, like chess has changed my life. I think about prisoners. There have been a lot of men and women in jail who they learned chess and it turned them around, and they ended up being a law-abiding, productive citizen afterward. And chess could do so much for us, and I just want as many kids to have the joy of experiencing that as possible. So that's why I do what I do. The tournaments are just icing on the cake. The tournaments are for the top people, the most competitive people, the ones who want to take it to the next level. But my desire is that we would have 10 times as many kids playing chess on campuses or at home than we have in the tournaments.
Oh, awesome. Should chess be a formal part of the school curriculum?
Absolutely. Yes, it should. I don't know that I'm ever going to win that battle. I used to kind of push a lot for that, but eventually you get tired of fighting it. But But it should be an elective because it's so good for people. And I think most of our administrators acknowledge that fact, at least on an intellectual level. Oh yeah, I know chess is good for you, but they're so pressured on so many fronts. There's the pressure to have a good band, have a good football team, have a good basketball team, have a good choir, have good cheerleaders, make good test scores, do well on AP, do well on STAR. Our administrators have got so many things coming at them that chess can slip through the cracks, and it can just seem like, well, I don't have time for a game. I've got too many other things to do. I've had principals tell me that. Not many, but some. And they just have to themselves catch the vision. They have to themselves love the game. And not too many of our administrators do. And I don't mean that as a criticism to them. We have wonderful administrators in our district, really top-notch people. But just some of them haven't caught the vision yet.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't know about this beauty. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, they haven't come to one of these tournaments and seen 300 people sitting quietly from age 7 all the way, or age 8 all the way up to age 18, 19, sitting in front of each other, having a good time, laughing and joking afterward, and just enjoying each other's company. That's another thing is you meet other people who are like you, or maybe they're a little different, which may even be better. I was talking to some of the high school players, and at the end of the last tournament, I said, would you rather have 5 games a tournament, but you have to play really, really fast, or would you rather have 4 and be able to slow down and take your time? And they said 5, because we get to meet more people that way. And I thought, wow, I've never thought of it that way before. That's one reason these kids come is to meet other people like themselves at other campuses. So that really touched me to hear him say that.
How widespread are chess clubs? Is it a healthy number, or are they struggling?
I wouldn't necessarily say that they're struggling in general. You have some really active and positive, just really involved chess clubs. Really I can't think of another word beside active, but just dynamic clubs with dynamic leadership. Like yours. Like Beverly Hills Intermediate, like Genoa Elementary. I could call out of a lot of other campuses that have fantastic programs. Morris Middle School, Fraser Elementary, Pasadena Memorial High School. And those are the ones that really keep me going. You guys inspire me by your energy and your commitment to the game and to the kids. And then you have others, I'm not going to name any names here, of course, or campuses, but you have a chess club on paper only. They'll say, yeah, I'll get an email, I'm going to do chess, but they never answer the emails. They don't come to anything. They don't come to the tournaments. And so they're kind of frustrating to me, at least. Yeah. And I do what I can to motivate them to take it up a notch, but I can only do so much. And again, these are volunteers, so you can't make them do anything. And then we have a few campuses that just flat out don't have one. But I am pleased to say that we have at least a club on paper at all of our middles, almost all of our intermediates, and all of our high schools, or almost all. Like I can't say for sure. I don't have the list in front of me, but I think about 90% of our grade 5 and up campuses at least have something. Elementary is a different story. I think we have about a third of our elementaries that have a chess club, and I'd love to make that 50% or 2/3 or 75%. Although we would have to knock out the walls. We'd have to I don't know what we would do. Can you imagine having another 150 elementary students or 200? We'd have to go on different days for elementary and secondary. I don't know, but I'd like to see more. And I try to do what I can when I see a principal. Especially if I know the principal and they don't have one, I say, hey, it'd be really cool if y'all had a chess club. And they'll say, oh, yeah, it might. And sometimes something happens and sometimes nothing happens. But I keep trying to plant the seed.
So it must be a cast of characters or a cast that help you do this. Would you like to do a shout out to those guys, to the people who help you in spreading this joy?
Yes, I would. Amanda Kahn, who is our district GT specialist for elementary, does a wonderful job. She is usually the one that handles the logistics at the tournament. So she'll tell you what table you're sitting at in between games, or she puts the signs up. She organizes registration. things like that. She handles the money. Like anytime there's money involved, she pays for people. I've never ever in all my time in PISD had any money in a budget, so which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Pamela Johnson, who's about to retire, has also helped a lot. She has been our GT secondary specialist. Dr. Tom Lee, who's our director of advanced academics, is a big supporter of chess, and he usually comes out to the tournaments. Lindsay Lesniewski, who's one of our executive directors of curriculum, she is a big chess fan. Used to be principal at Gardens Elementary, and they always had a good program. She comes almost every time. And a lot of our principals. But I'm telling you, man, it's mainly you and Mr. Geronimo and Grant Pector and all the chess coaches who are the backbone of this program. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have. I can plan a tournament, but if there's no kids to come, it doesn't do any good. And no coaches to help.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, but certainly the fact that there is a local tournament really gives my kids incentive. So let me tell you, they're already looking forward to February. They're already planning for February, all right? Just so you know.
I love that. That's great. Yeah, the more friendly competition, the more rivalry we get, the more fun it is.
Great shout out. So here's the deal. So as a chess promoter, what do you value the most as a chess promoter?
I just value participation and quality. I mean, quality play, I started to say. I want people to do the best they can. I want people to have a good time. You know, as I said earlier, if you win, that's great. I love winning. If you lose, I hate losing. But the older I've gotten, and hopefully the more mature I've gotten, and the more I play, the more I realize, well, I lost, that stinks, but what can I learn from it? That's what the kids need to, that's what we need to teach our kids. And again, that's a life lesson, isn't it, Mr. Cantu? I screwed up something. Like I'll give you an example. I bought this fitness app and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I'm fighting with them to get my money back and they don't want to give me my money back. And so what have I learned from that? Hopefully I've learned be a little more careful. Try the free 1 week trial instead of sending them money for 3 months. Don't get scammed. There's so many scam artists out there. Chess teaches us, when you lose, like I lost, I'm probably out $25, but okay, that stinks. I hate that. But at the same time, now, next time I'm less likely to fall for this kind of a scam, if indeed it is a scam. So that's the thing about just use chess as a way to not only make your brain work better, and to grow dendrons and things like that, but to also make better decisions in the future.
Oh, absolutely. It's so beautiful, man. It helps you deal with adversity. So I'm going to ask you to give a couple of groups of people advice. So let's start off with parents. Are parents problematic? What can you tell parents?
Well, I would tell parents to encourage if you have a student that plays chess, encourage them to play. Don't stand in the way. I realize a lot of our chess players they're in pre-AP, or they're in AP, or they're in the band, or they're in the orchestra, or they're in athletics. Chess players tend to also be in 10 other things, especially in high school. So I would say give them the freedom to play some chess, but at the same time, make sure they're not just doing it like all the time. I want people to play chess a lot, but I do not want them to neglect their studies. Studies are more important. I don't want them to neglect practicing their instrument or practicing their sport. But I'm here to tell you that chess can make those things better. If you play chess, you develop, we've already talked about spatial reasoning, logical planning, things like that. You develop, what was the other thing I was going to, creativity. Chess sparks creativity because you look at the board and you think, I don't know what to do. And then you look and all of a sudden, oh, wait, let me try this. And that comes from the challenge of being in a difficult situation. Creativity comes out of stress. Chess presents stress to you. and that could lead to creativity. And that can transfer to other areas too. That can make you more creative as a calculus student or as a as a football player even, or as a member in choir. It can make you more creative across the board. So let your kid play, but don't let them get too obsessed. I teach U.S. history at San Jac, as I mentioned, and I had a student who would sit there and play chess on his iPad like all through class, and I finally had to say, "Hey, no, 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 no." He's like, "Well, I thought you were real into chess." Well, I am real into chess, but I'm also real into history, and that's what we're doing right now. There's a time for chess, and there's a time to not play chess, and this is a time to not play it.
How about some advice for some chess coaches? What would you tell the chess coaches?
Just be there for the kids. Grant Pechter always talks about this. I try to get him to talk at every one of our annual meetings at the beginning of the year. It's about the relationship. If you can, as a chess coach, the most important thing you can do is not necessarily share 1,000 lessons we want to teach to the degree that we can. Some chess coaches know a lot of chess. You're a very good player, and you can teach them little tips and tricks and things like that. Some of our chess coaches never played before. They're just learning. They just love the kids. But that's whether or not you're a total rookie or an experienced player. The thing is to love the kids. Be there for the kids. If the kids need to talk about home or family or whatever, talk to them. Just be a trusted adult that they can come to and be around. And as we know, a lot of our students don't come from very good homes. They may not have dad at home. They may not have mom at home, or maybe they do have mom and dad, but they're gone all the time because they have to work so much. So you can be, I don't want to say you take the place of their parent, certainly not, but you can just be another trusted adult who they can go to and you be a model for them. Teach them the lessons we've been talking about. Teach them the idea that losing is not the end of the world. Losing is an opportunity to learn. We can model that kind of behavior. We can model maturity. We can model patience. We can model kindness, things like sportsmanship, things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how about for students that run across this interview? What do you got for the students?
Well, students, I would encourage you, as I was saying in my portion for the parents, chess is a lot of fun. Play as much as you can. Try to learn. Try to watch a video every now and then or do some puzzles. There's millions of them online for free. There's thousands of YouTube videos, and some of them are 5 minutes, and you could pick up an insight or two and try to improve your game. If you don't have time, just play, because just playing alone has a tendency to help you improve your game, but guided practice is even better. It's like anything. If you catch a football 1,000 times, but you keep doing the same bad thing, keep dropping it, you drop it 990 times, that's not necessarily helping you. But if you miss it 3 or 4 times, as I probably would, and then you have somebody say, well, here, put your hands like this. Oh, okay. And then you start catching it. So it's good to play, but it's even better if you can to have somebody there, either on video or a person like yourself, Mr. Cantu, to try something a little different.
Awesome. Great advice. Great advice. Awesome. So let me tell you, Mr. James Early, I applaud you, man. People, who don't know this world, it's such a beautiful, I stood back for a second and just took in the scene of the gym. With all the enthusiasm, all the energy. You see the energy inside that gym? The energy of these kids, and they're engaged in such a beautiful, wholesome endeavor. So I just can't applaud you enough. Man, it's just so awesome what you do, and people need to know, man. And the parents need to get their kids involved, and more schools need to go on board, but I applaud what you do. What does the future hold for you?
Well, I'm not getting any younger. As you can see, I've got my beard is almost entirely white, so I'm not going to be working forever. I'm looking at possibly retiring in maybe, 4 years or so, 5 years. I don't know what I'll probably keep doing the tournaments after that. I'll come back as a contractor or something, because I love it too much to completely let it go. But yeah, I just want to. I'm like almost any person, especially a person in their later middle ages. I want to have some more time to pursue my hobbies. I want to have more time to exercise, to work out, to lift weights as well as run. I want to have more time to work on my podcasts and learn my music, try to eventually master the guitar. That's been a long time thing, which I've been working on. I'm still a long way to go, but I just, I want to be able to sleep late. I don't want to get up at super early in the morning to an alarm. I'm not a morning person. So I don't want a lot out of life. That's just what I want. More time to just relax and enjoy life. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll come about in a few years.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Any parting words or final thoughts as we conclude this interview?
I would just say if somebody's watching this and you've never played chess, give it a try. Go search on YouTube, chess, how to play. And it's not hard to pick up the basics. The rules are very easy to learn. It's a very deep game though. You'll probably never master it. There's always new things to learn. It's a bottomless well, really. Try it, give it a try. And puzzles are fun too. I love chess puzzles. Sometimes I like that better than a regular game because you just do one or two moves and you're done. But give it a try. Find some people you can play online for free in a lot of places. Chess.com is a great place to start. Give it a go. You won't be sorry.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. James Early, I applaud you. I'm fascinated with what you do. You do such wonderful work. I hope you consider me a friend, and I hope our paths cross many, many times in the future.
Oh, they will. We need to play again. Maybe once the Christmas break hits. I need some more slapping around, which is what you do every time we play.
Hey, it would be a true pleasure. That's okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, James Early. Hope to see you soon, and farewell. Farewell.
All right. It's my pleasure.
Wow, what incredible insight from Mr. James Early. He does such wonderful work. I've witnessed the beauty of gyms full with youth, excited about playing chess, and that all happens because of guys like Mr. James Early promoting the beauty of chess. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. James Early. Let me take a quick moment and ask that if you enjoy this content, did you please hit the subscription button and the notification bell, that you leave a comment below, and you smash that like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Let's spread this joy, let's spread this beauty to as many people as possible. My name is Saul Gandu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. Farewell.